From the Talk FM News Desk and the KROS Information Center, keeping you informed is important to us. Talk FM 108.
Oh, I just love this piece of music. Just can't help it. Oh, I just do. The series was absolutely fabulous too, Miami Vice. And you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. Let's hear the song in entirety as we bring you more of the Gary Russen program on GJRB. Okay, there you go. The theme to Miami Vice on GJRB Online. Yahama from a great TV series. And welcome to the second hour of the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. GJRB Online's news station. Nomination went to the Senate, citing painful family situation, could hurt his children, and reopen some bad wounds. Here's a complete look at that story now. It's not working. Okay. The audio wasn't on. And that figures. Okay, I'll just have to see if I can refresh that. Anyway, the whole story is that he decided to step down. You know, it's amazing how these guys are all stepping down from Trump's administration. It's just amazing. Just the other day, we said goodbye to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and now Shanahan departs. He said, quote, I believe my continuing...
This is Prize
let's
Patrol
see.
Trivia.
We got the new...
False.
Okay, let me see. I don't want that on there. Yes, it's annoying. Anyway, he goes on to say that I believe that his continuing confirmation process would force my three children to relive traumatic chapter in our family's life and reopen wounds that have worked years to heal. Ultimately, their safety and well-being is at their highest priority. The acting defense secretary did not provide specifics about the family situation, but according to the Washington Post, published an interview with Shanahan on Tuesday, shortly before Trump tweeted his nomination would not go forward. In that interview, Shanahan spoke about circumstances surrounding a 2011 divorce and said he didn't want to drag his children through that experience again. So pretty much has to do with him not putting his family through any more unnecessary trauma, not unnecessary situation there. Meanwhile, take a look at this interesting story. It comes out of Rapid City, South Dakota. Murder of a pharmacist there who had raped and strangled in her home in the South Dakota city in South Dakota City more than half a century ago. Has been solved with the use of DNA technology and geology databases. According to the police, investigators believe that Eugene Carroll Field killed 60-year-old Gwen Miller in 1968 when he was 25 years old, living in Rapid City. Detective Wayne Keefe said that at a news conference on Monday that there's enough evidence to charge Field with a first-degree murder, but that he died in 2009. So you gotta realize he carried that with him to his grave. Gotta imagine the judgment there when he got on the other side. Anyway, it is a little surreal. Finally identified the killer after 51 years and up to 5,000 hours of work. Police Chief Carl Jigaris stated that there is a slight celebratory mood because the case has been solved, but I assure you the fact that how horrific this crime was wears heavy on each other every day in our hearts. So that's a sad story there too. And you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online, and thank you for tuning in as we bring you the second hour of GRP on a Tuesday afternoon. We're going to be bringing back some shows this month. We're headed into the final half of July, as this is July 18th, so we're kind of in the final half of the month, being Saturday was the 15th. So we're halfway through the month of June, and coming up in the month of June, got some plans for some programs, and we're going to talk about that next hour, including a Rockin' 80s show on Friday. So Friday I'm going to have some 80s, and some more spontaneous programs coming up that I have not announced are going to be on, but they are going to be on spontaneously. We'll include a Way Out There show. We'll have one of those up. I have a few programs that are coming up from our, like I said, from our church that haven't been uploaded yet. I've got some new stuff that I'm going to be putting on. I got another music and memory show because we had someone who liked it. So we've got another one coming up. And what else? We had someone who actually liked our show other than the people who follow me. It was absolutely great to see that. And it made me feel really good that, it made me feel like I want to go on, even though I don't, despite of Facebook and their stupidity, I'm going to keep on trying to, do what I can to, try to make this show better one way or the other. And, like I said, need to take a break every once in a while, play a song. That's what I'm going to do. And make it show interesting. Because this is the Gary Russen program, GHRB's original news talk program. But when I run out of things to say, when I repeat myself and I stumble over words or what have you, I'll sometimes take a break and put a song on to kind of I don't know how you say it, even out a little bit, take a break from the usual norm. But that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to flip over now to the weather here coming up. Oh, come on, you stupid thing. Okay, I know what I'm doing. I think the batteries are dying in this one, too, because it's sure taking forever to get all my stuff functioning. So you hear that? Okay, that is my Roku box going into the weather. So I'm going to kind of dip out of that so it doesn't make any noise. Some of the buzzing too might even be and some of the noise is coming from my system. That would include some of the stuff I got with the connection to my Roku box, putting the audio to put the weather on the air and stuff. So that has something to do with it too. Hope you enjoy the program wherever you're listening across America, the Gary Russen program, and get ready to get the weather set up here. And let's see, I'm waiting for it to go up. It's taking forever. Okay, enough there. According to the Weather Nation, it's 84 degrees in Clinton. I expect it to be 84 today with anyhow, let's see, we get into that. There we go. And some of the temperatures, I'm going to take a look at some of those coming up. 86 degrees in Atlanta, 86 degrees also in Charlotte. So, and they're looking at some severe outlook. Some of the, looks like high-risk areas are going to be like around Little Rock, Arkansas, and up around Jackson, Mississippi, and Nashville, Tennessee. A good friend of mine down there, Nashville, Tennessee, who likes to chase tornadoes and stuff like that. He likes to follow severe weather, and I guess he had a pretty good one yesterday from what I've seen from the videos. 86 degrees predicted for Atlanta, 92 for Columbus, Jacksonville, Florida, 89 degrees. And there's some severe outlook from Atlanta clear up to Charlotte, according to that. So we're going to take a look at that coming up on our Weather Nation here on GJRB Online. There's a tornado watch for Kansas area, tornado watch for Coffee, Dickinson, and Geary, Lyons, and Morris, and Osage, and a few other places around there. So the Kansas area under an alert, and we'll take a look at that coming up when we have the weather on the fives here coming up on GJRB Online. Gary J. Russell with you. Thanks a lot for tuning in to the program, and I hope you're enjoying it wherever you're listening across this fine land of ours. And we got some more interesting news to bring across to you, and let's see, we're going to see if there's anybody. I usually every once in a while will check my chat room and see if there's anybody there. We had Blake Myers at the beginning of the program. He was on with us, and said that my audio had changed for some reason. Like I said before, I have no clue why. But every once in a while I've noticed that actually on a few other programs, and I really don't know what's causing it. I made my sound adjustments. I do have one of my cords, so because I did have one button pushed. It was the 2TR to phones. I had that top button pushed. I don't know if that had anything to do with the audio change, but let me see if that'll work. Don't know why the audio would change like that, but there, I think that's a lot better. I'm sounding better. Let me know, because don't want I want quality sound here on this program, and not going to work if we don't have quality sound. That has something to do with the program too. The Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online on Spreaker, and you have a chance to be on the program if you get in my Skype line, Gary.Russen. As a matter of fact, why don't they throw the Skype in there? And I haven't done that yet. So you need to open that up. I was going to open up my Skype line last hour and never got around to it. I mean, anyway, not that I get a call on it, which rare occasion happens. But I put it up anyway, because it shows green, it shows availability, shows that I'm on the air, and I'm taking calls. So that's part of it. And I also go through the motions as if I've got some listeners and they're calling my show. Got a message from Instagram. a few people on there. Steve Cruz also. A few posts on my Instagram. I'm going to have to check that out. I should do a video for Instagram. That would be kind of cool. Honestly, got interesting pictures there on Instagram. So I'll have to take a look at those. Some new stuff there. Instagram notifying me I had some postings. So, maybe I'll get something there. Like I said before, if you want to be... I'm trying to get on Instagram. And so far, I don't know. This program isn't reaching Instagram. But I am on Spotify. So you can join me on Spotify as well. And that is another great place to check out my show, is on Spotify. Because I have, you get listeners on Spotify quite often. And, great place to listen to music and stuff. And I think Spotify has some interesting stuff. I do like their site there, and you can listen to my show in order there too, by the way. So I mean, even if it is in parts right now, you can at least hear my show in order. So on Spotify. So if I'm take a break, you'll catch the next part, which will follow right afterward there. So. You'll still be able to catch our program in order. But for Spreaker listeners and people who listen on Spreaker, it's a great place to do that. Anyway, you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. I hope you're enjoying the program wherever you're listening across the fine USA. And we're going to be... doing our weather on the fives coming up here in just a little bit, and then we'll do a program break and be right back with more GRP, and we'll do a 50 minutes of nonstop talk and music as well. So stay with me for that. In the next hour, we'll do our program schedule and let you know what's going on GJRB Online. So stay tuned for that, and we'll have all that coming up. And you can be a part of the program. Just join me here on Spreaker, GJRB Online Network. And this is where all the good programs lie. If you find something interesting to talk about, and take phone calls, and later on guests. I got a lot of really good people to be a part of the show, so you can be on the air with me. Every once in a while I just kind of rattle on here a little bit, waiting for the weather to come up so that I can get ready for that, and then we'll be coming back with more great talk here on GJRB Online. Let's see what we got here. Some of the temperatures across America here on GJRB Online, and it looks like I'm not going to get that. It's the way my day's going. Here we go. Tonight's low is 52 degrees in Boise, Idaho, 59 degrees in Sacramento, California. San Diego is going to be 61 tonight, 44 in Flagstaff, 47 in Cheyenne, Wyoming, 55 in Rapid City, South Dakota. We just heard that story. 53 degrees in Fargo, and 56 degrees in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Des Moines will be 62 degrees tonight. And for tomorrow, taking a look at what's going to be in for tomorrow, 64 degrees for a high for Seattle, 72 expected for Portland, Oregon, San Francisco in with 70 degrees tomorrow. But check Las Vegas, Nevada. You guys are going to be sweltering. 105 degrees for Las Vegas, 104 for Phoenix, 92 for Albuquerque, and Dallas, Texas checking in with 96 for tomorrow, 94 in Houston. Those are some of the hottest spots in the country right now, those areas. 85 degrees in Atlanta, Georgia, 84 degrees in Charlotte, North Carolina, and 90 degrees expected for Jacksonville, 88 for Tampa, Florida. And let's do weather on the 5s, and here is Weather Nation.
The Sunshine State has not been. The state of Florida has been inundated with heavy rainfall for the last few days. These are current views from South Florida and North Florida. Wherever you go, pretty much there in the Sunshine State, you're likely containing some showers and some thunderstorms. And those will only continue, not only for Florida, but for much of the East Coast as we head through the next few days. Thanks for joining us here on this Tuesday afternoon. Chris and David with you.
Yeah, let me mention there in the Florida Panhandle in particular, the camera on the left-hand side, that's Tallahassee, Florida, Florida State University actually, but the National Weather Service there at the Love Building on campus. You're looking at Doak Campbell Stadium off into the distance there, so you are looking to the west. And those thunderstorms, typically this time of the year, I used to call those I-10 storms because you could be sitting at the beach looking out over the open water, Chris, and see a lot of sunshine, but just don't look behind you because it's dark and it's storming along I-10. This isn't that. This is actually a little bit of a wave moving on to the east.
All right. Well, that's certainly a very soggy one moving its way through Florida right now.
It is indeed. Let's take a look at the Viper radar, and we'll talk about the rest of the country where everything is falling. Chris has more on your forecast ahead for the next couple of days, including the weekend coming up. And as we look at it right now, you still see some flashing polygons on there, blinking lights. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings. We have several of them up and down the line, all the way from the Colorado Rockies northward into Montana, southward into a concentrated area around low pressure and adjacent cool front down to the south of Omaha, Nebraska, having to delay those College World Series games there into Omaha. Then you go southward into Texas. You'll find some more of the big storms there ongoing as well. The northern sections of Texas, couple of severe thunderstorm warnings here at the moment, right on the border, just to the south of Guymon into Oklahoma and all the way through the north. Or you go up I-25 and I-70. You find the storm is there just to the east of Pueblo in Colorado. We had a tornado warning in Kiowa County yesterday, so we'll be watching for that sort of thing. Now, here's where it gets really complex. We do have along I-70, we've got a trailing area of thunderstorms. It goes all the way down to the south, just to the north of Wichita. And this is actually a low-pressure center, a surface low. I just looked at it. And a warm front that goes right to the border of Iowa at the moment, where these dew point conditions are into the 60s, the low to mid-60s to near 70 degrees. And we got 50-degree dew points to the north up into Des Moines. But we do have wind coming in like this that's helping the situation out there. And then an actual cool front that goes down to the south. These, again, it's more of a dew point exchange. We're seeing the lower or drier weather back to the west here, and still getting a southerly flow ahead of the system that comes in on the east side of Wichita. But that means cold air loft, showers, and then the thunderstorms. They have all the large hail, and we even had a tornado warning there just a little while ago, so that can happen as well. There's a tornado watch into that area. Indianapolis, back over to Pittsburgh, south of D.C., I-95 all the way over to Virginia Beach. Some of those thunderstorms into southern Virginia have been very active. All throughout the Appalachians, the Great Smoky Mountains on the east side of 441, you'll find the big thunderstorms down to Asheville, there near the Biltmore Estate, or just to the west of Macon, Georgia. We got some thunderstorms coming into LaGrange, I-85, all the way over to Lee County and Auburn, Opelika, or down to the Wiregrass into Dothan, Alabama. Some of those thunderstorms, too. And now trailing back over to Tallahassee. We just saw the rain there on the camera. We got one or two different waves, another one down to Panacea, Dog Island, or just outside of Carabel near the bridge, or back to the west into East Bay, south of Panama City, over to Gulf County, back to the west into Bay County. That's Choctawhatchee. The bay there is Choctawhatchee. On the east side is 331, the bridge that goes from Destin right back over to Niceville, Florida. Pretty heavy rain there too, Chris. It's spotty.
All right, so some spotty storms there and through parts of the Florida Panhandle. Lining on up and taking you up to the north where we do have a severe thunderstorm watch. It does include us in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Looking at some storms as we get later on through the afternoon and to your evening hours. That's where, again, we do have that severe thunderstorm watch that goes till 10 p.m. Eastern time tonight. As David was showing you, some of those storms more into New Jersey right now, especially central New Jersey from kind of Newark on south through New Brunswick, Perth, Amboy, and down through Monmouth and Ocean counties. Where we've seen the majority of the storms so far, but we are expecting some storms to kind of fill on in through much of the mid-Atlantic. D.C., Baltimore, where it's been very stormy for the last few days. Well, once again, we could be contending with damaging winds and the possibility for large hail. Baltimore, we are looking pretty warm, pretty muggy right now. Last hour, that dew point was at 73, which is very impressive for us there in Baltimore. Temperatures in the mid-80s are certainly more than warm enough to sustain that threat for severe weather well into the evening hours. So for your night tonight, and well, I guess for the remainder of your Tuesday, June the 18th, we are looking at that slight risk for severe weather from the Lehigh Valley, extending down here into the Chesapeake Bay, the Delmarva Peninsula, again, Baltimore, D.C., and on east through New Jersey. Not a great beach day there in the Delmarva, as well as on north into central and south Jersey. And that threat for severe weather extending all the way south here into the Wiregrass of southeast Alabama and far southwestern Georgia, with that possibility for mainly damaging winds. This could be your main hazard out here across the East Coast. Large hail tends to be a bit more difficult. I've mentioned this several times here, that threat for large hail tends to be a little less across the East Coast just because we're at lower altitudes, so the freezing levels, and you get a lot of melting of the ice there, so it's much harder to get that. Long story short, damaging winds will be your main hazard, so we're looking at down trees, down power lines. You might lose power, bring inside the power to your furniture. Those are things to think about across the East Coast. Now, also that threat is going to be there into the Midwest. Well, more on that in the next few minutes. Large hail, again, it's a threat, but for most of us, we won't see much in the way of any hail. If so, it will likely be on the smaller side. And there is that threat for tornadoes for eastern and southeastern parts of Pennsylvania and parts of New Jersey and far northern Delaware as well. A 5% risk within 25 miles of a given point in this brown shaded zone, and that green shaded zone, that is a 2% risk within 25 miles of a given point. So shower storms continue to slide their way off to the east. Notice by the time we get to about 8, 9 o'clock or so tonight, we lose that daytime heating. The overall conditions for severe weather will start to wane a little bit. That said, some of these storms will hang on into the overnight hours. The greatest threat for overnight storms is going to be into the Midwest, but some of those storms do hang tough in through parts of the Carolinas, on north into the Delmarva, as well as eventually on up into New England and the Northeast as well. For your Wednesday, kind of get a bit of a breather from the severe weather in Philly and D.C. and Baltimore. Still some storms around, but the greater risk for severe weather off to your west in the Ohio River Valley. It's more into your Thursday, where I think we'll be looking at that threat for severe weather again. Force in Baltimore, D.C., as well as on north into Philadelphia. It has been a stormy spell, not ending anytime soon. Let's take you out to the Buckeye State. All this messy weather, and this is probably the main one. It's the flooding. Details on that coming up.
And there's flooding and everything else. Sorry about that. I cut the microphone off by mistake. That's Weather on the Fives. A complete rundown of what's going on throughout the United States and weather. Weather on the Fives, 25 and 45 minutes past the hour in all music shows, 25 and 55 in all talk shows, here on GJRB Online. Of course, anytime in the hour it ends in 5. On GJRB Online. The Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. We'll be right back. Got more coming up next. And got more great talk radio here on GJRB Online on the GJRB Online Network.
Intense times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end-time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. Suicide's increasing among the youth, and many of them playing suicide games. This has to stop. Parents, watch your kids, and if you feel there's something going on and they are considering suicide, please.
And you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. They're going to start off 50 minutes of nonstop talking music here on a somewhat interesting Tuesday afternoon here on Spreaker Lane, USA. This is Alana Miles, Black Velvet.
Always wanting more.
lot of miles. Black Velvet from the 80s here on GJRB Online. And on Friday afternoon, be digging up those 80s hits, my 80s Dusty 45s, and have a rockin' 80s for you here on GJRB Online. Hope you'll tune into that broadcast. 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time, Friday afternoon. Yeah, should be a great show. 1 o'clock in the Pacific, right here on Spreaker on GJRB Online for good times. It's a good weekend. I was to play some 80s hits, so we got some really good stuff. 80s hits, rockin' 80s on Friday afternoon right here on GJRB Online. And that was spontaneously scheduled, and that means that I'm putting on the 80s show. That should be really fun on Friday afternoon right here on GJRB Online. 3 hours of solid 80s. We'll have 50 minutes of nonstop 80s hits. It'll be absolutely fabulous. I hope you'll tune into that broadcast. So I'll throw some 80s on today and dig up some good stuff here as we continue the Gary Russen program. 50 minutes of nonstop music and talk. You want to be part of the program, you're welcome to do that. I'm on the chat room. I kind of peek into the chat room from time to time. So if you want to check that out, the chat room is open. So if you want to get in on the program, you can do so. And I'll have, that going on, and I'm spreading the show around so that you can get on the program and talk, play some music, 50 minutes of total nonstop talking music, and throw in different things. And this usually the last part of the show is kind of fun because I kind of forfeit the news, say the heck with it, do sports maybe, and just let it just fly at the seat of my pants here. This is usually a tight part of the week, but every once in a while we kind of let loose if there really ain't much going on. And like I said, with my news and everything right now lately, it's been like I don't know. It's just hard to explain. I've been kind of frustrated with the fact that I don't. I can't. It's hard for me to do news when I don't have the capabilities of doing that. So you know how that goes. Anyway, we got a lot more stuff coming up. 50 minutes of nonstop talk and music coming up in the next part, the last part of our show. And we'll be wrapping up this part of the show here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker. And throwing in the next and final part on the air. And I might stay on a little longer. You never know. Because actually, on my 9-foot signal coming up, I'd be going off carrying 30 minutes of Dan Patrick on my 9-foot signal. But sometimes I just say the heck with it and stay original for the next half hour. Because the Cubs are coming up. I think, let me see. I'm going to check that, make sure we go. Because I think the Cubs are playing tonight. But I've been wrong. So I'm going to check here real quick and see what time the Cubs play tonight. I believe they got a nighttime game at 7:05 tonight. So I'm going to go to my Cubs schedule here as soon as I pull that up and see exactly when the Cubs are going to play. There we go. All right, let's see here. Who had that? Wait for that to come up. I want to remind you that we got some great podcasters here. We're going to talk about them next hour. All the great people that I follow on Spreaker that follow me. And I thank you for tuning in. And I hope you enjoy the program wherever you're listening across the fine land of ours. GJRB Online, the Gary Russen program. And let's see, the Cubs, let's see, where are we? Today is what, the 18th? Yeah, the Cubs play tonight against the White Sox. Oh, they got to play their crosstown rivals. Is this the Crosstown Classic today? Versus the White Sox, 7:05 tonight, 6:30 pregame, Chicago Cubs baseball on our 9-foot signal, Talk FM 108 at 6:30. So why don't we just do that? Why just carry a half hour of a nationally syndicated sports talk show when we could stay on just a little bit longer? So we're going to stay on till 6:30. We're going to stay on an extra half hour, and then we'll close up and turn it over to the baseball game. So we're going to stay there about 6:30, and hope you'll stay with me for some of the great talk here on the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. Then Saturday, I'll have another Saturday Extra, hoping that Ben Osman will join me. Last Saturday, he did not make the show. He had some stuff going on, so he couldn't do the show, unfortunately. Sadly to say, he just couldn't do it. So we're going to, I already planned a reschedule with him, and we're going to be on Saturday. So I hope you'll tune in Saturday for that. Ben Osman will be with us Saturday afternoon for the Gary Russen program, Saturday Extra, at 3 o'clock Central Daylight, 4 o'clock Eastern, and 1 o'clock Pacific, right here on GJRB Online and the GJRB Online Network. Alrighty then, and I hope you'll stay with me. We're on Spotify. Don't forget, you can get on Spotify and get on the program, find the Gary Russen program, search for it, just hit that search engine. Should find it, should come up, the Gary Russen program for today, 6/18/19. So you'll find the program right there, and you'll find our all our information there, how you can reach us. The Gary Russen program, I'm on Twitter. You can catch me live on Twitter, and that'll take you right into the chat room. You can catch me live that way, or you can get on the you can get on the Spreaker. That'll take you right to the Spreaker public site, right into my chat room. You can say hi and be a part of the program, and we can chat a little bit, so that'd be kind of fun. And so the 5 o'clock hour, I'm going to stay strictly 45 minutes on the Spreaker there, 45 minutes, and we'll still do a 50 minutes of nonstop talk and music, and we'll stay here till 6:30 for an extra half hour of the Gary Russen program today here on GJRB Online, because it's the program director's choice. Yeah, you got it right. I can do whatever I want with this show, and if I want to be on the air a little longer, that's what I do. Yeah. And be on the air tonight. We got some more great stuff coming up later on. And we'll give you our program schedule coming up next hour as well, and see who's out there listening to the GJRB. So that's all coming up, and I hope you'll stay with me. We had Blake on about a couple hours ago, but he kind of disappeared into the ether. He's gone. Now, anyway, let's see. We got some more. We'll also tell you what's going on. Some of my shows have disappeared, as you'll notice if you've been on our public site. If you haven't caught a little of our show, some Gary Russen programs are going off, so I still have some shows available for May yet. You can download those yet. Hurry up, because I'm going to be taking those off probably tomorrow. Make room for some more stuff on Spreaker here on my public site. I do that so that I can make room for more programs. You know how that goes. So say goodbye to some programs that are going off, but I got more Gary Russen programs coming up. So, stay tuned for that. And all shows spontaneous during our GJRB Online Spontaneous Summer. That means you never know when we're going to be on the air. I could just pop on the air for any reason whatsoever. And they're spontaneous. I could stay on the air, too. Even though the baseball game's on, but I'm a Cubs fan, and I sometimes like to follow the Cubs game. I like to watch the Cubs games. Speaking of Cubs, you hear about that sad situation going on with that little kid? My goodness. Yeah, it's really sad when there's already been foul balls hitting kids, and Javier Baez. Well, I think it was one of them. No, it was Armora. that can hit a guy hard, especially if he's got some family. It's really a sad situation, and they need to do is put some kind of protective netting and say, if you want to catch foul balls, go to another part of the ballpark or do something. But they need to do something to protect these kids at the ballpark. It's sad when kids get hit with a baseball, especially one that's getting hit that hard. Oh my goodness! They said this little kid. I hope his kid's all right. I know one kid died, didn't one kid die? And it's a sad thing. It really is. And just to be very careful when you go to a ball game and realize that you're going to a baseball game, and the foul ball is going to come your direction. Be ready to duck. Because usually guys are usually there ready to haul it in. So I don't know. It's just it's crazy how they do that. And so whatever the case. Top of the hour, we're going to continue the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. Hope you enjoy the program wherever you're listening. And we're going to spread this show around in the next part. And you can catch this show on, like I said, on Twitter. And that's on the Radio Maniac. And just get in there, type in Radio Maniac. You'll get the Antique Radio emblem, GJRB Online next to it. And there you go. All the parts are there. Just hit that that widget comes up, and all the programs are listed there. You can list all the parts there, and it'll take you right into the chat room. If you're a Facebook follower, you can just go into the Messenger and call me there. So there's a lot of places you can contact me. Be right back. Got another hour to go. The Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. I'll be right back with more good stuff on the way. This is the GJRB Online Network.